The mayor of Decatur, Alabama, says disciplinary actions could come after the police shooting of a black man. The city's police chief says that policies were violated the night that officers shot and killed 39-year-old Steven Perkins. Police say Perkins threatened a tow truck driver with a gun. Now, I want to warn you, the video I'm about to show is disturbing. A home security video from neighbor Michael Capps shows the moments that lead up to Perkins' death. This video was recorded from Capps' home across the street. Around 1:30 in the morning, 3 officers were standing near Perkins' home when a tow truck arrives and it begins to hitch Perkins' vehicle. Perkins yells at the tow truck driver, and then shots are fired. Officers stood near Perkins' body as the tow truck driver left. The police department says shots were fired only 4 seconds after Perkins confronted the tow truck driver. The officers involved say Perkins threatened the tow truck driver and officers with a gun. Now, we could learn as early as next week if action will be taken against the officers. Perkins leaves behind a wife and 2 daughters, ages 7 and 14. Joining me now is Steve Perkins' older brother, Nick Perkins. He joins us as we extend our deepest condolences to the family. My brother, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Marc, for having me.
You know, before we get into the details of the story, until we get into the politics and all that stuff of it, what kind of man was your brother?
My guy was my brother was a very loving guy. We grew up in a very loving home, both parents. He was a gym enthusiast. He loved the gym. Steve went one of 3 places during his daily walk: the gym, work, and home. That's what he did. He loved his family, loved being around them, loved spending time with them. Steve was just a great guy. Never met a stranger. I always helped him. That's just the way we were raised. Great guy in his community.
Wow. Wow. It's important to know that part of a person so that they never just become a name. They never just become reduced to the story that we know about them in the news. You had the blessing of knowing him for a lifetime, and that means a lot. Help me understand what happened here. Why were police called for a dispute over a vehicle repossession?
Well, first of all, Marc, the police weren't actually called as far as a 911 call. There's no 911 call that exists. A tow truck driver made an attempt to get my brother's truck at his home around 1:30 in the morning. There was an altercation with he and my brother, in which my brother told him to leave. He did. A second tow truck driver arrived at my brother's home after calling in favors from local police officers who he was friends with. And that's why the police were there. Unbeknownst to my brother, he had no idea that they were outside.
Wow. So it sounds like this thing really escalated more quickly than anybody could have anticipated, particularly if you don't even know the police have been called as these things are happening. Now, I've heard you break down your kind of analysis of the situation, and you said, even when we spoke, that this all could have been avoided just by a knock on the door. Help us understand what you mean by that. How could this have been avoided by such a thing?
A simple knock, Marc. If you pay attention to the videos, if you can see, the police took cover. They took stealth mode. 3 in a triangulated position. They never knocked on the door to inform my brother that they were outside. My brother's dog was barking, so he comes to the door a second time and actually comes outside to confront a second tow truck driver, who he assumed was the first tow truck driver to return. And as he's walking toward the tow truck driver, an officer in deep cover behind my brother's garage yelled at him to get on the ground. And as my brother is turning, because he doesn't know anybody's behind him, before that full command is given by that officer, he opens fire and shoots 18 shots, hitting my brother 7 times.
My God. I'm starting to hear conversations about disciplinary action, that the police will be disciplined. This happened almost 2 months ago. Early October, we're approaching December soon. It would seem like disciplinary action should have been talked about then. What's the difference between what's happened then and now? Is it just y'all raising your voices? Is it why are we just talking about police disciplinary action now?
This is a very small town, Mark. There have been protests after protests. There have been meetings. Protesters showing up at council meetings. There have been forums. The people in this town have really been making a lot of noise to the higher officials, chief of police and the mayor in this town about justice for my brother. It has taken a while. The facts of the case did go to ALEA, the state agency for investigation, as well as an investigation internally with the Decatur Police Department. Those findings are just now coming to the surface to actually be given to the mayor for disciplinary hearings, which should be happening the week of December 4th. So that's what we're waiting
on. And as that's happening, gotcha. As that is happening, is there any talk about the tow truck company being liable for anything?
There are talks about the tow truck company. There are talks about the finance company. There are talks about the insurance company. But I'm sure all of those talks will move forward with the civil trial that should be coming forth pretty soon.
How's everybody holding up? How are your brother's wife and kids holding up?
This is a very different and difficult situation, Mark. My mom is she's a very strong woman, and especially in her faith. And she's doing okay. She has her moments. She's still human. My sister-in-law and nieces are taking it pretty hard. They have to wake up every day without a man that's been in their home for the last almost 10 years. I have two nieces, one's 7, one's 14, who are playing basketball. They don't have their dad there to support them. We just finished the Thanksgiving holidays, and there was an empty seat at the table. So it's rather difficult now, and we still have Christmas to go, along with his birthday in January. So it's been very rough since September 29th.
My God, this is an unimaginable tragedy, and all I can do is hope that your family can heal as best as possible in the midst of all this madness that's going on. I send you my love. I send you my condolences, and I wish you get justice, whatever that looks like for you. Nick, thank you so much for joining us. The Perkins family has set up a GoFundMe that will help assist the family during this time. All you got to do is search Stephen Clay Perkins on the internet, and the page is going to come up. Make sure you do that if you so desire.